What's up? What's up, YouTube? What's up, fresh boy? I'm doing all right, man. Just chilling, enjoying this rainy day in VA. How you doing, bro? Hmm. Wait for some of y'all to come in here. So anyway, as I wait for some of you guys coming in here, so if y'all not aware, I think Charles Barkley was on. It might have been Greeny's show or his radio show. I know he was talking to, I think, Mike Greenberg when he said that he thought that James Harden is the greatest scorer in the history of NBA. And he said he was better than Kobe and Jordan, and that, I'm trying to remember specifically everything he said. I think he said that James Harden was a better 3-point shooter than both of them, and that um, he's better at getting to the rack than anybody in the history of the NBA, including Kobe and Jordan. And Charles Barkley usually isn't one of these guys that always, says outlandish shit. He don't normally have to say outlandish shit, but I've been noticing over the last, year that he's really been gravitating toward James Harden. I'm not knocking James Harden. James Harden is a great scorer, but I mean, to say that he's the greatest scorer ever, I'm getting like real tired. First of all, a lot of these motherfuckers saying disrespectful shit to past players. Like Draymond Green saying he's the best defender ever. It's one thing in the heat of the game to say, I'm the best at this motherfucking shit. Okay, that's cool when you are amongst a small circle of people. But when you're saying something in public like that, it's disrespectful to other people that have paved the way, other people that have played, for you to say, hey, I'm better than you are. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm better than you are, and anybody's ever played this game. You know what I'm saying? To me, up until recently, that's always been rather disrespectful. What's up, talking and grubbing media? You know what I'm saying? To me, that's disrespectful as shit. I was just telling somebody this, man. If you're really, really great at something, if you're the best at something, other people will tell you that. Other people will tell you if you're good at something. When you have to constantly, you know, uh, self-appraise yourself, and you have to always declare yourself to be the best at something, then maybe you're not really the best. And before somebody put up Muhammad Ali only said I'm the greatest because he was mimicking his hero, Gorgeous George, who was a wrestler. He took Gorgeous George's gimmick, and inserted it into boxing. Because if you ever pay attention, Muhammad Ali never called himself the greatest boxer. He always said Sugar Ray Robinson was the greatest fighter he ever saw. He always gave homage to Rocky Marciano and people like that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. Like to sit there and say James Harden is the greatest scorer, like what are you looking at? Like let's go deeper into this. Okay, how many scoring titles does James Harden have? Like off the top of my head, I think he's led the NBA in scoring what, three times? Hey, EA32. What's up, Rashad Jones? Yeah, Charles Barkley is just, I don't know, man. He's just easily influenced by different shit, man. Like, okay, like James Harden has led the NBA in scoring what? Three? I'm thinking what? Is it 3 different years he's led the NBA in scoring? Right. If you say that James Harden is the best scorer right now, well, outside this season because he's more of a playmaker, but if you were to say he was the best scorer the last couple of years or the last 5 years, you're not gonna get an argument from me. But to say ever, mm-mm. First of all, James Harden has 24 career 50-point games. Kobe has 26, if you include the playoffs. Jordan has 39. Wilt has 122. 122. James Harden has led the NBA in scoring, I think, 3 times. George Gervin and Iverson 4 times. Durant 4 times. Chamberlain 7. Jordan 10. Okay, thanks. I thought it was 3 times. Well, Crow, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, offensive player score. But he was really talking about shooting. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if he's talking about a combination of his scoring, okay. If he's saying a combination of his scoring and passing ability, then I still don't agree with that. Because the role of a point guard just 15 years ago, less than 20 years ago, was different than it is now. A point guard's main role was to run the offense and be a playmaker and a distributor. And if you had to, if nobody else was getting it done, then you would become a scorer. Remember, Kevin Johnson, when he was playing with fucking Tom Chambers, who was putting up 27, and he was playing with Dan Marley, who was scoring in the teens, and he was playing with Jeff Hornacek, who's averaging 20. You know, A. Johnson, who's averaging 18 or something. Kevin Johnson was still averaging 20 fucking points and 12 assists. Imagine Kevin Johnson on a bad team where he had the green light to shoot the basketball all game. What about Nate Archibald without a three-point line with the Kansas City Omaha Kings averaging 34 and 11 back in the 70s, 72, 73 season? No three-point line. He averaged 34 points. That's 45 points per game when it comes to, assisting to a basket or being responsible, having some role in a basket per game. That's why I said, if you're talking about playmaking and passing as well as scoring, I still don't agree with that. But I also heard Charles Barkley say that James Harden is the greatest scorer ever. I've heard him say that. And my biggest problem with people saying that James Harden is the greatest scorer too is they keep talking about, well, James Harden is a better three-point shooter than Kobe. and Mike. But like I always say, Jordan's generation, 80s into the 90s, they didn't really emphasize the three. Dominique Wilkins, if you're gonna indict Jordan for not shooting threes well, then you got to indict Dominique Wilkins. You got to indict Bernard King. You got to indict Alex English, Adrian Dantley, George Gervin, Julius Erving, even though he wasn't as prolific a scorer as they were in the NBA. But you got to indict that whole generation because they didn't shoot threes. They were taught to go to the basket or the mid-range. So to sit there and take their numbers and say, oh, well, they couldn't shoot threes, that's misleading. Exactly, EA32. They already calculated there was a three-point line when Pistol Pete Maravich was playing. Instead of him averaging 44.8 points per game in college, he would have averaged 57. That's why I say a lot of these dudes' numbers, you have to put an asterisk by them because there was no three-point line. Imagine what Jerry West would have averaged today with a three-point line. He averaged 27 points a game back in the 60s and 70s without a three-point line. And he routinely shot from beyond the arc. What would be beyond the arc now? Who knows what he would average? Maybe it'd be closer to 30. Maybe it'd be over 30. We don't know. I just think it's stupid. Just say that James Harden is the best scorer right now. To say James Harden is the best scorer right now is fine. To sit there and say he's the best offensive player or the best scorer ever is disrespectful because it's too many holes in his argument. Another thing everybody always going to say is, where is this dominance in the playoffs? Where are these dominant offensive performances in the playoffs? I can point to Jordan all fucking day. From the first round to the finals. Dominant performances. Kobe, a lot of dominant performances in the playoffs. Well, even though he has his reputation for being a choker, I can point to games where he showed up and dominated. James Harden, not so much. And if you take the three-point shot away from James Harden, he doesn't have the variety, not anymore at least. At least he hasn't shown it in the last couple of years. He doesn't have the versatility offensively of Kobe and Mike. If you took a three-point shot away from them, okay, they'll kill you from the mid-range. They'll take it to the rack. They'll go in the post. James Harden, if you take a three-point shot away from him, he gets the line, but he's no longer that devastating 40-point per game guy. He'll be more of a 25 and 12 assist guy. So if you're such a great scorer, why do you rely so much on one particular aspect? And that's why he's not the greatest fucking scorer to me. Do I think that James Harden is better than D Wade as a scorer? Yeah. I think D Wade is a better mid-range shooter though. But overall, you gotta kind of hold it against Wade that he couldn't shoot threes well at all, and this was, closer to this era. Like Wade was like 27, 28% three-point shooter when the league average was 36, 35. You kind of got to hold it against him. See, when Jordan was playing, the league average in threes would range from 26% to 33%. So Jordan wasn't far from the league average. Kobe I know his overall percentage at the end says 33%, but his last couple of years hurt his percentage. The post Achilles years, the last what is that? Last 2 years of his career, I think, or 3 years. Before that, Kobe was closer to like 34%, 34 point. He was close to what LeBron is shooting right now from three. You know what I'm saying? While being smaller and while playing in a league that, let's be honest, there was more defense played. I'm gonna give James Harden his props a little bit. I'm gonna give James Harden his props, T. Barton, because he does have a knack for getting to the line. I give him that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hate on him like all the time. Like he is making a name for himself as a great scorer. He played 8 years with Houston, averaged 29 points a game. I think something like 6 rebounds, 7.5 assists or something like that. Remarkable offensive player. I'm not taking anything away from him, but you have to take certain things into account. You also take into account this era we play in. Well, the era they're playing in right now. This era, they're averaging 112 points a game. Whereas when Kobe was in his prime, the league average was under 100. Okay? It was under 100. So it's a totally different league. Kobe played in a more defensive league, so field goal percentages were lower. That's why I get irritated at these motherfuckers on YouTube that keep talking about Allen Iverson's field goal percentage. You're comparing a league from 20 years ago when 15 of the top 20 scorers were post players. It was a totally reverse situation. 45% shooting 20 years ago was great. It was like 50% shooting. But some of these dudes just stat readers, man. You said prime T-Mac will average about 40. The Orlando version of him. I said the Orlando Virgin. I doubt he was a virgin. The Orlando version of him, yeah. But T-Mac was never a selfish player, though. Like, the only reason why, he shot the ball like that is because he was on a bad fucking team. It was supposed to have been him and Grant Hill, and at one point, like it was going to be him, Grant Hill, and Tim Duncan. But Tim Duncan decided to stay in San Antonio, and Grant Hill got hurt, and it wound up just being Tracy McGrady running the show with a bad team, but he was fucking legit. Like that's another motherfucker people forgot about is T-Mac. At one point, people were comparing T-Mac and Kobe. And T-Mac could give you it all back then, man. T-Mac could shoot from three. T-Mac had a mid-range. T-Mac could take it to the basket. Crazy athleticism. That's true, Rashad Jones. Um, the years when Kobe was averaging 35 and 30, 32, whatever, that the league was changing their rules then, but there was still some defensive resistance. The game has opened up even more so since then. You know what I'm saying? Like the game has completely changed. Like there's no, for instance, like there's no bigs anymore. Like the traditional big bodies, those bigs, they're gone. They're not in the game anymore. You don't see motherfuckers just like consistently camp down low anymore. They can't do it anymore rule wise. They don't have the time anymore. And you know, more and more you see perimeter, you see stretches, you see stretch guys. So that's another thing that makes taking it to the cup kind of easier if you're a perimeter guy. I mean, it's just so much. The spacing is just different. The spacing is so different today compared to 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's just, I don't know, like it's just so easy to comprehend the fact that all of these guys today, all of the big scorers are guards. That's by design. I wouldn't argue with saying that James Harden is a better shooter than Kobe and Jordan. I wouldn't really argue with that. He's better at, he shoots a lot more threes and he has a higher percentage career wise. I think I just looked it up. He's 36.3%. Jordan's 32.7%. Kobe's 33%, I think, or 32.9, something like that. So I can't argue that he's a better shooter, but scorer, to me, is something a little bit different. What I will say, though, is that James Harden is one of the most shameless scorers that I've ever seen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some guys, they're great scorers, but they don't have the mentality to constantly just shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot the basketball like that. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, can't we really say, because I'll be honest with you, I actually think Kevin Durant is a better scorer than James Harden. Am I the only one that thinks that? Because look, Kevin Durant shoots better from the foul line. He has a far higher field goal percentage career-wise. James Harden is 44.4%. Durant is like over 49%, well over 49% shooting. Durant has shot over 50% from the floor for the last 7 to 8 seasons. And he's a better three-point shooter percentage-wise, like 38, 39%. And he has 4 scoring titles. And he played on a team, Golden State, where you have Curry and Clay, you know what I'm saying, who could both light it up. And he still was averaging 27, 28 on that team. To me, Kevin Durant is a better scorer. Yeah, Kevin Durant, to me, now if somebody would say Kevin Durant, I wouldn't have made this video. I'd have been like, I don't agree quite, but I see the argument. James Harden, he ain't the best scorer on this fucking team. Let me shout out some people that's in here. Octavius, Texas Made, Gamma Rays, Crafter, King Mafia. Hey, King Mafia, what do you mean by when you say when will you get StreamYards? I'm using StreamYards right now. Wouldn't you like to know what's up? Salute to you. One and done. Is that one and done forever? T-Mac scored in the Florida offense. Exactly. That's a better way of putting it. He scored within the Florida offense. And he wasn't a type of dude that was selfish. Like when he went to Houston and he played with Yao Ming, his scoring went down. He went down to about 25, 26 points a game because you got Yao Ming dropping 20 himself. He was not a selfish scorer. James Harden is kind of selfish in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? Now, I understand his scoring down now, but, I could say some other shit, but it's irrelevant. Yeah, Kevin Durant could average 40 if he wanted to. B at E says true raw names should be too real for TV. Oh, allow people to talk. Yeah, you can come on. I'm just not used to doing this. So a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people gotta remind me of shit I gotta do. If you wanna come on, man, you can come on. What's up, legendary? See, I don't like scores like that though, man. Jerry Stackhouse. I don't like dudes that so yes, that's that feedback. Sounds like I said, I'm still getting used to doing this shit. Okay, now it's gone. I don't like goddamn I just can't stand fucking like Jerry Stackhouse. Man. I hate dudes that fucking score 30 points, but they fucking shoot 8 for 26 and shit. Like that's just some inefficient shit. That's just some inefficient shit. And I saw somebody say that field goal percentage is like overrated. Like, well, it's not. Well, thank you, Louis. Thank you, Louis. You know what I'm saying? I try to have great insight. You know what I'm saying? I try to think things through before, I make videos or I say a thought, I say something, I'm not always right, but, it's my opinion. I just try to have an educated opinion. Well, see, legendary, that's why I disagree with you about Kobe, though. Like, I know 44.7% isn't that great, but, you know, some of that is some of it is because of the fact that Kobe took a lot more threes for his era compared to his counterparts. Some of it was that, especially the last couple of years, and it kind of messed up his career percentage. But I understand what you're saying, like, because I'm a big stickler for that too. Like, I like efficiency. Like, I like, I like to me, watching basketball, listening to the great scorers, they always strove to shoot at least 50% from the floor. You try to make at least half your shots. It's only been like the last 5 or 6 years where now all of a sudden it's, well, you could shoot 40% from the floor, but if you're shooting threes, it means more than if you're shooting 50%. I'm like, I don't know, man. No, he didn't have no floor game. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. You said Kobe took 20 shots a game and only took 4 threes a game. But who else was taking, except for maybe T-Mac, who else was shooting anywhere near that amount of threes at that time? Because I know, like, Iverson, I don't think was shooting that many threes. And Iverson was inefficient from three. He was worse. I guess what I'm trying to say is this. Kobe was shooting more threes than the prior generation. Like, okay, you say he was taking 4 threes a game, but the guys before him, they weren't shooting threes at all. If you take 3-pointers out of the equation, I think Kobe's field goal percentage goes up to what, 48, 49%. I'm not saying he's the most efficient scorer, but I'd be lying if I said when I watched Kobe play that motherfucker was like one of the most clutch motherfuckers I've seen. Like I can see. I remember a game where Kobe was playing. I think it was the Charlotte Hornets, and Kobe was like six. I think Kobe shot 6 of 28 from the floor. Right, one of the worst shooting games he ever had in his career. But Kobe made like his last 3 shots, including the game winner. Like I know, like if you look at his numbers on the surface, they look like he's inefficient. But when you watch the motherfucker play, it's like, damn, does he miss? This motherfucker don't miss. I don't know. I get it. I get what you're saying. Like you look at the numbers, it says that he's inefficient. But you know, they used to say the same thing about John Havlicek. John Havlicek only shot 43% from the floor, 43, 44%, I think. But most of his contemporaries or most people that watch him will tell you that they thought he shot 50% because he seemed to make all of the big shots. He probably missed a lot of shots, but the ones that mattered, he made them. I'm willing to bet that in the fourth quarter, Kobe shot closer to 50% for his career than he did in the other 3 quarters. Bradley Beal is good. He just he needs another scorer, man, to take some of the defensive heat off of him, man. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Jesse Glass Saget? Says Jim Harden, all-time great regular season scorer. Rashawn, you still there? Wait a minute. All right, there we go. Rashawn, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting used to doing this, man, so bear with me. Hey, what's your thoughts on this?
It's like Kobe, Kobe just he's he he was so when he was hot, like he was the hottest scorer on the planet. But when he was really
Yeah.
cold, he still made
Right.
it look good, even when he was cold.
Right.
Even when
Right.
he missed, it still looked good. The knock on Kobe would be like he would overshoot. That
Right.
would be the biggest knock because he overshoot. And you compare
Right.
his efficiency with with Mike Bernard King or Ron KD, it's kind of lesser than them.
Right. Right. Oh, before give me 1 second. Shout out to my brother, 78 Sports TV with the Cash App saying, "What up, bro? What's up, man?" And I'm looking forward to your video tonight, man. Well, and I gotta rent you up too, man. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right. Yeah, had to give my brother 78 Sports TV a wrench, man. But and y'all subscribe to 78 Sports TV, man. That's the general. That's the leader of the LDBC. All right. So um, go ahead, brother. Go ahead and continue.
He basically compares career with Bernard King or Alex English or something like that. His efficiency is not up there with them. So when you see someone average 5 like Kobe, but his efficiency is not like other 30-point per game scorers.
Right.
So, people just automatically gonna knock him, which I can understand.
Right. Yeah, my thing with Kobe. Oh yeah, and shout out to Otis Thomas for the Cash App. Much respect to Otis Thomas for the Cash App. I just saw that. So much respect to you, man. Shout out to you, okay? So my thing with Kobe is like, yeah, I remember games, like you said, where he would overshoot. Like, maybe sometimes if he saw he had like 39 points going to the third quarter, he's like 12 or 19. He might be thinking, yeah, I'm gonna try to go for 50. And then he could hurt his team sometimes shooting difficult shots. Like he'll go from 12 for 19 to now all of a sudden he'll be 13 for 27. And he'll have 43 points. And then the Lakers will go from being up 13 to down to up by like 3. I have seen games where he's done that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making it like he's the greatest pure scorer I've ever seen, because sometimes Kobe could sometimes get into that mode where he shoots too much.
Right.
I can lie about that.
Who, in your opinion, who do you think is the most overrated scorer of any decade or generation?
Shit. Most overrated. Mm. I'm gonna tell you one person that's in this chat popping up that comes to mind. Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah.
He comes to mind. I just I'm gonna tell you a prime example how you know he was overrated. Once his athleticism dropped, fell off as a scorer completely. Because he totally, you know what I'm saying, like just relied on his athleticism. And, he was never efficient. He couldn't shoot from outside to save his fucking life at all. Like, he couldn't shoot at all. And once he lost his athleticism, his quickness, his ability to get past the defense, he just completely fell off. I see somebody say Cedric Ceballos. Yeah, I never would put Ceballos up there with great scores. He was like a garbage man, like my boy LB said. He was just a dude that would get a lot of putbacks, and he got like he got like the fritters and shit. Like he won't really like no great primary scorer and shit. Cedric Ceballos to me, you know
I
what I'm
was talking
saying?
about like real all-star, all NBA players. Like Cedric Ceballos is like,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, somebody who, so you saying like somebody like that gets a whole lot of praise, but I'm thinking it's a little overrated.
Yeah.
A little bit, Pete Maravich.
Mm.
Pete Maravich, because I think he's more acclaimed from his college exploits, but his NBA impact was not quite the same, and he was inconsistent. Some of that could have been injuries, but he really wasn't that efficient, especially considering that he was a 6'5". He's one of the first big guards. Like he was 6'5", 6'6", back in the 70s, about 200 pounds, 205. Huh?
He didn't look that big. I
No,
never. I didn't know
he was bigger than most of your past guards before that. Like before that, most of those dudes were 6'3", 6'2", 6'4". He was about 6'5", 6'6", and about 195, 200 pounds. But he was a little bit bigger than most of your guards. He was kind of a combo guard, but and he had his games when he killed it. Like that game when he scored 68 points against the Knicks, he was on fire. He had his moments, but he was just inconsistent. Then he'll have a game where he might go one of 12. He disappeared at times. So I think Pete Maravich is a little bit overrated as an all-time great player and scorer. But most of those dudes, like the guys from the past, I can't really say they're overrated because see some of them. I mean, what's Don Bryan talking about? Oh, he's talking to somebody else. LeBron. What about LeBron?
I hope he's not saying he's an overrated scorer.
Wait a minute. Oh, my boy. My boy, LB.
What up?
What's up, bro?
I'm sure I'm about to sip this tea that somebody's spinning. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I look. I'm like, what's all this hate towards Kobe Bryant, man? What did Kobe Bryant do?
I don't know. Like some people are saying, like they think that he was inefficient, and I was saying, like, okay, he didn't shoot 50% of the floor, but can we take into account the era that he played in? Like, scoring was down, defenses were that was a defensive era. Kobe's best years, you had the Spurs, you had the Pistons. You know what I'm saying? They dominated. You still could hand check up until the mid 2000s, and it was a league.
Like 2001, right?
Well, they really got rid of hand checking all the way in 2005, but 2001 when they implemented zone, and so it was a different brand of basketball. And plus, remember they had all these dudes that was really getting paid just for playing defense. Like Roger Bell wouldn't be in the NBA today.
Right. Everybody had like a specific role.
Right. So I mean, it was a different league. Okay, did Kobe sometimes take bad shots? Yeah, I guess. But
Jordan took bad shots.
Yeah, I'm talking to say. You know how many times I cussed Jordan Black ass out in the late 90s when he fucking shot jacking and shit?
Yeah, there was games where Jordan went like 9 for 27 for 26 and 9 for 25 and all that.
The game when the Bulls won a championship in 96, Jordan shot 5 for 19, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He shot like shit. So it's like people got this perception like Kobe always shot bad and Jordan was always 80% from the floor. I don't know, man. I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah, I don't know where that come from neither. Considering, look, my opinion, right? Don't get me wrong, Jordan's a great. You know what I'm saying? There's no debate about that, right?
Hey,
But,
LB, let me stop
but
you
for
for a
people,
second.
but
Hey,
for
can I
people
stop
to
you for a
put Kobe
second?
Bryant, huh?
Can I stop you for a second?
Go ahead.
I just want to address some of the chat. The reason why I didn't say LeBron is because I don't think of him as a great scorer. I know he's going to end up probably being an all-time leading scorer, but in my mind, I just don't think of him as a great all-time scorer. But yeah, I guess you could say he's slightly overrated. But then again, if the motherfucker become the all-time leading scorer, it is what it is. But he's a special case. He's longevity. But you know what I'm saying? I don't want to bring that motherfucker up in this video, but go ahead, LB.
Yeah. So to see people put Kobe Bryant outside the top 10, I'm like, come on, man, come on. It's already bad enough mainstream. You got these lame ass people in the mainstream sports realm that's putting them in the top 15 and all that. When just a few years ago, when he was playing, people were saying this guy was the second coming of Mike. This dude was the closest player to Mike. So how can he be the closest player to Mike, but you got him in outside the top 10 of greatest players of all time, man? First of all, you're being inconsistent, and second, you're being disrespectful.
Is that really disrespectful?
I'm done. You go ahead, Coach.
I think you can have a top 10 list. I seen lists that did not have Kobe in the top 10 that was still valid. If you put things in context, I've seen people put Dr. J in the top 10 and put up a convincing argument that he's a top 10 player. If you he was a face of two different leagues. He was 30,000 points, an all-great player. So you can make an argument. You can put him over Kobe Bryant.
Julius Erving?
You can make an argument. And he
Well,
played for
yeah,
multiple
look.
franchises.
But is that an ABA? It depends on if you're talking about just the NBA or if you're talking about pro basketball when you include the ABA. But, okay, let me ask you this. Right now, off the top of your head, can you name me 10 players who are realistically better than Kobe or should be ahead of him on a top all-time list?
10? No, I have Kobe at 10.
Oh?
You got Kobe at number 10?
Yeah, number 9, number 10.
Okay, you're entitled to your opinion, but what's your list?
Of course, Mike, Kareem, Bill, Magic, Larry, Hakeem, Wilt, LeBron, Tim Duncan, Shaq, Kobe. Obviously, I don't have Hakeem Olajuwon in my top 10. I have a number 11. LeBron and Kobe, number 9, number 10.
I mean, I'm not gonna critique you for your opinion. I mean, that's your opinion. Can I ask you this though? Why do you have Tim Duncan ahead of Kobe?
Everything that you want in the player. He has the leadership, he has the intangibles, consistency, durability, longevity, and he played in the confines of a system, and he really never went out of it. If he wanted to, his numbers could have been better than what it was, but he didn't go outside the system as much as a Kobe Bryant or a LeBron James or hell, even Michael Jordan. And he has 5 championships and easily could be 6-0 if it wasn't for Ray Allen.
True. I'll give you that. But let me ask you this too, though.
Elite two-way player. Yeah, because he's boring, quote unquote boring.
Hold on. Didn't Kobe beat Tim Duncan more times than Tim Duncan beat Kobe?
What does that? What does that mean?
You know what that
I thought it
mean?
was a team game.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure it was a team game. In 1999, Tim Duncan beat the Lakers in 1999. In 2001, the Lakers beat him. 2003, won. In 2004, the Lakers won. And 2004, Garrett Fisher had let it out. So the Spurs easily could have been up 3-1. But okay.
Okay,
The Spurs lost.
my only
And
thing
this
about
Spurs won in 2013.
I think Tim Duncan's top 10, but don't you think Tim kind of benefited from playing with the Spurs and always having Hall of Fame caliber teammates around him tim
Okay, so this the thing,
Well,
right?
So 2003, who was the other Hall of Fame player in that prime? I mean, he single-handedly carried that team. Manu Ginobili wasn't a Manu Ginobili yet. Tony Parker wasn't even an All-Star yet.
And this is $25 shit, that's fucking good. Whatever.
I mean, I don't know who he's single-handed. David Robinson's 37 years old.
So in 2003, he didn't have. So in 2003, he didn't
He had
have.
nice role players. But he did not have another All-Star player with him like Kobe
Didn't have been
or
All-Stars yet, but he
LeBron
didn't
did.
have Tony Parker and Ginobili there yet.
There were nice role players at that time.
We have Steven Jackson there.
A nice role player.
Come on, man.
Okay.
He's a nice role player. If you put him on when his best, when he was averaging 20 points on the Bobcats, that's nice. When he knows his role, he's nice. But he's not gonna be no All-Star. Like, he's not an All-Star. A real All-Star. It's not happening. In 1999, he definitely didn't have nobody in 1999. David Robinson was basically done out of his prime.
No. I agree with that now. In 1999, David Robinson wasn't done. Now, if you say 2003, yeah. But 1999, David Robinson wasn't done.
David Robinson was like still an MVP form, bro.
In 1999?
Yeah.
Was he out his prime?
No, I mean, look, was he the same player he was before the leg injury? Nah. But he wasn't done. He was only 30.
Not to disrespect
33. He was 33 at the time. He wasn't done. Now, about 2003, yeah, he was done. But David was still a 20 and 10 dude. He was a 20 points and 10 points. He was a 20 points, 10 rebound guy then. And he purposely took a back seat so Tim Duncan could flourish. But he could have been an asshole and said, "This is my team, though."
But he knew at the end of the day he wasn't an alpha, and to a certain degree he was kind of too nice.
I mean, I don't know if I would use that alpha thing because that gets misused sometimes. I know what you're saying. He's a nice guy, but I'd rather put it like he was a better team. He was a good teammate. And he knew it would be better for the team. Tim Duncan was young, fresh out of college. David wasn't quite the same, but David was still an all-star level player in '99. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, I wouldn't agree that he was done. No, you're good, but I wouldn't say he was done in '99. That's 2003. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, David Robinson was done in 2003.
Yeah, he was done in 2003.
He was basically just a rim protector and a rebound.
I'm gonna have to be honest with you though, man. That was a long time ago, but I kind of remember Tony Parker having some nice moments in that 2003 finals. I mean, and in the playoffs. Like, I know you're saying they were role players, but I remember Tony Parker like having some nice games, and you could see what his potential was then, as well as Ginobili. Ginobili came to the NBA, and he pretty much, I don't want to say he invented it, but he pretty much introduced the Euro step to the NBA. So you kind of downplaying those dudes a little bit, in my opinion, man.
Oh yeah.
Plus Steven Jackson, I think you are. Plus Steven Jackson was probably put them like 15, 16 a game. I don't know,
Was
man.
that was that team?
I said,
Was that team? I compared that 2003 Spurs team to the 1994 Rockets. Is that a fair comparison?
well, look, that's another thing that get
Great role players.
misconstrued too. That's another thing that get misconstrued too about Elijah Warren. And they're saying that he's the
And I
only
remember the video.
legend.
I remember the video today.
Okay, that's misleading because Sam Cassell played on that team. Sam Cassell was a perennial like all-star or damn near all-star. Okay. Robert Orr was on that team. You can call him a role player, but he's a damn good fucking role player. He should be in the role player Hall of Fame. If there's a such thing as that.
Definitely.
Tracy Murray was on that team. Tracy Murray went on to play with Houston. I mean, with Washington, averaging 17, dropped 50 points a game before. I mean, it's kind of like, Vernon Maxwell. He had years averaging 20 points a game. He dropped 51 points in 3 quarters one game. So what I'm saying is, it's kind of like misleading to say role players because
disrespect.
Right, you saying role players, but it's like you're equating him to those guys to Steve Kerr or Judd Bushler.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
that you going that route.
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't like when people say. I don't like when people say a team just play with role players. It's like, okay, he ain't played with superstars, but he played with a whole bunch of fucking really good players, which kind of equates to playing with goddamn one superstar.
Yeah, man, people sleeping on Otis Thorpe, man. Otis Thorpe was a hell of a player.
Right, Otis Thorpe was an all-star in '92.
Yeah. Otis Thorpe, Kenny Smith was a hell of a player. Sam Cassell came later on. Vernon Maxwell wasn't no scrub.
Okay, that was a good team. But when you compare Hakeem Olajuwon and Tim Duncan to other great players who play with another Hall of Famer, that's what I'm comparing the two.
Kobe Quinn,
because usually great players play with another great player. What?
Well, okay. I wish I could just look at a list of the teams, but right. Okay. Well, okay, let me ask you this. You talked about how Tim Duncan, toward the beginning of his career, was like carrying a bunch of bad players. But what about Tim Duncan toward the end of his career?
These niggas don't know nothing about basketball, man.
What about Tim Duncan before the end of his career?
I don't know nothing about basketball because I don't have Kobe as high as you have. It's like talking about Kobe fans. Towards the end of his career, he was.
All right, you have a good night. Hey, too raw. I got to step out, man. Appreciate you having me on the stream, bro.
All right, bro.
Yep.
All right, look, this is my thing. Okay. Tim Duncan, what about toward the end of his career? When he won a title in 2014, went to the final 2013, he clearly was not a star anymore. Okay, so who was the star of the team then? Tony Parker. Okay. Ginobili. They were still, I mean, it might have been like getting toward the end of their primes, but they were the stars. But who else was on that team that's a star now?
Oh, of course, Kawhi.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, but you're making it seem like he never played with anybody.
Oh, when I mean role play, I don't mean like a Steve Kerr. I mean like they were great at their roles. Like I'm trying to downplay. Like they're Hall of Famers. I was talking about specifically in 2003.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I do. I really do get what you're saying. But I think people use that term role players too broadly. Like Kawhi Leonard, you could argue was a role player. Well, by definition, he was a role player back at in those days with the Spurs. He worked his game. He worked on his game and improved his game overall to the point where he became an all-star and then a superstar. But he was a role player then. But what I'm saying is, I just think people misuse that term role player too much when they want to benefit a player they're talking about. Like when saying Elijah Wan played with just nothing but role players, is like, okay, I get what you're saying. They weren't superstars, but some of them dudes was fringe all-stars. Like they were borderline all-stars on other teams. But I don't know. It's just me. But
what you call it?
But no, we could disagree. You know what I'm saying? It's cool.
Right. I mean, I'm not a Kobe a hater, quote unquote. It's just I see what I see. I don't think that's disrespectful to another 5-time champion.
I got you.
If I said something,
who was that?
Charles Barkley, shit.
Who was that? Hey, Dom. If you want to come in, you gotta hit that link. Let me see. I might put it in the chat again. All right, let's put it in the chat again. What's up with y'all hating Kobe, man? You said how good was Kobe against Dallas in 2011?
That's true.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I can just say, okay, well, how good was LeBron in 2007 against San Antonio? I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had bad series, man.
True. I mean, I do think some of the balls are money.
Is that what you think it is, Prince O'Keezy? You think Barkley kind of salty against Jordan, so he sneak dissing him? MJ won't be Barkley's friend no more, so he mad at him. I don't know, man.
You made a video on that, Charles and Michael Jordan's relationship?
I might have. I have no idea. Sometime I done uploaded probably like goddamn 4,000 videos, bro. Like, sometimes like I might have, but I do know that on Jordan's end, it seemed it was more strategic. Like, because people got to remember at one point in time in the early 90s, Jordan and Barkley were considered the best two players in the league. And, apparently Jordan kind of pushed that friendship ship with Barkley to kind of try to make him get a psychological advantage, because when you friends with somebody, a lot of times with most people, they kind of take it easier on you on the court. Like they might not go as hard against you if they perceive you as a friend. You see what I'm saying?
That's why Jeff Van Gundy said the con man. That's why he said the con man.
Right. Yeah, 90. I remember that game. He said it before a January 20th, 97 game against the Bulls. And he was saying Jordan will cultivate a false sense of friendship with players and then strike like a viper. Like in the games, he'll cut your throat because he'll catch you off guard. But yeah, in the 1993 finals, when they was playing Phoenix, right? Chicago, before one of those games, before the game, I think, with Jordan dropped 55. Before that game, him and Charles Barkley played golf. They both like golf and shit. And then Jordan bought Barkley a $20,000, I think it was a watch. And one of the assistant coaches, it might have been Guy Rogers or I can't remember what the assistant coach was. He said, "Why the fuck did you do that?" And he said, "I did that because I'm trying to make the fat motherfucker think I'm his friend. So watch, in the next game, he gonna take it easy on me." And that's the same game when Jordan drove to the basket at the end. Charles Barkley halfway fouled him instead of fouling his ass hard, and Jordan was able to get that shot off to get the and one. And then afterward, whenever they play against each other, not to cut you off, but whenever they play against each other after that, Charles Barkley made a point to foul the shit out of Jordan if he ever tried to take it to the basket, or if he was like killing, he would foul the shit out of Jordan. But yeah, that's the thing. But I think that their friendship was more one-sided. I think Charles saw Jordan as a friend more than Jordan saw Barkley as a friend, because once Charles Barkley made that critique of Jordan as an owner, Jordan just cut him off completely.
I can see Michael's side on that one.
Right.
I mean, Charles could have communicated with Michael. If that's really your friend, you communicate and acts and say certain things. Is this okay to say? Is this not okay to say? You don't just say he's trash and the worst owner in NBA history. Like, you don't, you know.
Right. What's up,
what's
Arm?
going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, man?
Jeez.
Man, just talking shit.
All right, glad I could get up on here. But I ain't trying to interrupt everybody's points. I'm gonna go ahead and get in and get out. But the reason why I don't believe that James Harden is a better scorer than Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, you'd have to have played basketball to understand it. So when the refs aren't giving you fouls, when shit isn't going your way, when the person you defending is getting hot, when there's a clutch shot to make, you know what I'm saying? Or you got a fucking hard test guard, and you can't sit there and just do all these fucking step back threes and all of that. And I feel like James Harden, every time he lost in the playoffs, it's because that stupid ass 3-point shot wasn't falling. Whereas with Kobe and a guy like Jordan, they might have not do the regular season shit he did for his points, but with Kobe and Jordan, them motherfuckers found a way. Yeah. They found a way to get it done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. Like, if you take that 3-point away from him, whether it's defensively or that motherfucker not falling, he don't have the other, or at least he hasn't shown the last couple of years. He don't seem to have the other facets of his game to rely on. Like Jordan and Kobe, they didn't rely on the three. But if you took the lanes away from them, they could rely on the outside shot, or more particularly the mid-range shot, and still give you 30 or 40. If you took the 3-point away from them, they'll kill you from the mid-range. If you took the mid-range away from them, they're going to go to the fucking basket. You see what I'm saying? And they can score in the post. Yeah. James has to rely on the three. And if you take that away from him, he has to either settle for a 20-point game, or he's going to have to be like a 20 or 18 or 20-point per game facilitator. He got to get other people involved because his shit not falling. He don't have the other aspects of his game. At least
and James Harden, he has absolutely no mid-range.
And you know what's crazy is when he was playing with Kevin McHale, when he was averaging more like 27, 28, he did have a little bit of a mid-range. I'm not saying it was like on Michael Kobe level. OKC, but in the early years of Houston, he did have a mid-range when Kevin McHale was there, who's an old school coach, an old school player. But when they fired Kevin McHale and having all these other guys coming in, especially D'Antoni, and he just pretty much just been either shooting threes or taking to the cup, his mid-range has deteriorated.
I mean, you got to at least have a fucking stop and pop.
Right.
At least. in your mid-range game. I like to drive to the basket a lot. And I would notice these motherfuckers, they like to load up down there or ride you to the basket. He don't even have a stop and pop. And that
No.
shit would have got him a lot of points when he was fucking up during the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that one.
It's amazing how something that seems so simple could be so deadly. Like Kawhi Leonard. When he
His
had his
elbow
run with
jumper money.
Toronto. Yeah, when he had his run with Toronto a couple years ago, you know what I'm saying? He was killing with the mid range. Killing. Like you don't see that shit no more. Like motherfuckers just take the 3-point away. James is kind of like, I don't know. That's why, like in the playoffs, man, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I need to see that shit in the playoffs. For me to see somebody, for me to say somebody's the greatest at something, I need to see them do it on the biggest stage, not just against the Knicks or the Hawks in a regular season game that don't fucking matter. Mm. Mm.
The gift for the, I would say, I think Daryl Morey has had a huge effect on James Harden game, and I think to a certain degree that's a pretty big reason why James Harden stopped shooting mid-range jumpers or unwilling to shoot mid-range jumpers because Daryl Morey was kind of stopping that. Not to make excuses for him, but
No, I know
I
what you're
think Daryl Morey
saying.
has had an impact.
Yeah, all the analytic shit.
Right.
Yeah. The analytics say that you shouldn't shoot mid range because it's inefficient and it doesn't go in. And well, maybe it's inefficient because motherfuckers can't shoot it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't see how it's inefficient. I mean,
man,
KD,
I've
Kawhi,
watched Glenn. I
McCollum.
watched Glenn Robinson. I watched Glenn Robinson, Jordan. Kobe. Older dudes, man. Jeff Malone. Kiki Vandaway. I seen all these dudes kill it from mid range. Adrian Dantley had a fucking mid range game. Well, he could hit it from mid range. Alex English. Who? George
Cassell had a
Gervin.
very underrated mid-range game.
Yes, Sam Cassell. Penny Hardaway. Like, I mean, it's just a lost art, man. And it's not that it's inefficient, it's that these guys can't fucking shoot it.
If a player to me is shooting an elbow jumper, a pull-up jumper, I don't think that should be a problem. I don't think that is a problem. I think a problem would be them shooting like long twos. Then I have to agree with that. If you shooting like really long twos, then I have to agree with that one. But if you shooting elbow jumpers like Kawhi or Chris Paul, I don't see why that's a problem. Especially if the defense is giving you that. I don't see a problem with that.
Right. I mean, if you're gonna shoot for, I mean, look, if you're gonna shoot for 22 feet, then I can see maybe they'll say like, well, why don't you just take a step back and just make it a 3? I get that, but from 20 feet on, from foul line to 20, you know what I'm saying, man, those guys used to kill it back then, man. That shit was money, and I just think that it makes basketball look better anyway, just in general, like. It provided more balance, man. You had some 3-point game, the mid-range game, and you had the post game, and all these things were displayed within basketball. Now it's just everything's just a fucking 3 or a layup or a dunk, and it just sucks, man.
I would
Shout
say
out to
during the
Percy.
playoff time, I expected it.
Shit, I was trying to figure out how to turn up this damn volume on this damn thing. Well, shit, I can't hear nobody now.
Absolutely gets a pass. You know what I'm saying? Every playoffs, when he can't get a pass this time, though. I don't think he get a pass this time. Now that he's on this team, and if they lose specifically because he performs poorly, he can't get away with that this time. You can't sit there and say that I don't have no help. You're on a fucking super team. If they're healthy and they're resting Durant all this time, so he'd be right. And it's James Harden that don't show up, all this MVP talk, shit, I'm a flambe roast his motherfucking ass. And the media should too.
I think he's in a good position right now because, really tell you the truth, what shocked me, I thought it was going to be an issue with who's going to be taking all these damn shots. And I'm not going to lie. He's playing like a goddamn point guard and getting in where he fit in with a few shots. So now he don't got that pressure on him. The media made him like something that he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Saying he's better scorer than Jordan and Kobe. No, he don't have that what they got in their chest. So his ass get uncomfortable when all that weight is on his back. That's why he wanted to leave Houston. So he can't fail now. He got Kyrie and he got Lillard.
Right. Big Woke.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
Just came from that Draymond Green video. Good video.
Oh, thanks, man.
What's up, everyone? You guys all right?
Good.
Yeah. Tura, I just wanted to ask you something.
Mhm.
Would you take Orlando Magic Tracy McGrady, or would you take James Harden as a better scorer? You guys can
The
answer if you
Orlando
want.
Magic version.
Give your opinions.
Right. I'm just thinking about it. Like, I mean, when you take the fact that, all right, let's look at it. Okay. James is the better shooter. I give him that. Tracy's obviously more athletic. I mean, more athletic. I mean, it's just not even a
Way more
question.
athletic.
Yeah, it's not even way more. One thing I'm always a little concerned about with James Harden too is, doesn't he always seem like he's like two buffets away from being like considered clinically obese?
I think he's
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing I'm concerned about with James Harden is, is part of the reason why he struggles in the playoffs is that he gets tired, and that could be part of it. With McGrady, man, that never was a problem. McGrady was, always in peak physical conditioning. 6'8". Yeah, 6'8". His overall offensive game, to me, McGrady's was better.
Yeah, he had a deeper bag.
Right. He had a deeper bag. This is my only thing with McGrady.
Excuse me.
How will his game translate today, though?
Why wouldn't it translate today?
You know what I'm saying? Like, in a league where it's more predicated on outside shooting and playmaking versus pure athleticism, would he still be as dominating today. I think it's like this. I would have to think that in some way, if you're a great scorer, you're going to adapt to whatever the rules are or whatever the changes are.
True enough.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So if I had to pick between the two, man, I had to pick McGrady.
So, okay. All right, next one. Would you take, say, 2018 James Harden over, I guess, 2009 Dwayne Wade?
As a player or just as a
Score.
scorer?
Score. In terms of scoring ability. I just want to get your thoughts on how does James Harden...
I'll give it to James Harden. If you're just talking about, like, scoring, yeah, I give it to James Harden as a scorer. As a player, no, Dwayne Wade. Wade was a great mid-range shooter, and Wade was good at, he was athletic and he could take it to the rack. Wade was never a good outside shooter, obviously. Yeah. He had a mid-range that he could hit, but he was never a good outside shooter. And Wade just, to me, as a scorer, he was explosive, but Harden has more. He's more versatile scoring wise, like as far as what he could do. So scoring wise, I would give it to 2018 Harden. I'm not gonna knock what he's done scoring wise, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't think he's the greatest scorer ever.
Hell no.
Obviously not.
Count them damn playoffs. That tell you enough right there. And then the thing
exactly.
Too, he got no athleticism.
Okay. Last question, too, Raw. What about, say, prime George Gervin versus prime James Harden, scoring wise?
Well, see, George
That's
Gervin should be brought up.
comparison.
Yeah, George Gervin should be brought up in this argument too, because George Gervin was crazy efficient. Like,
deep bag, could do anything could get his from anywhere on the court.
Right, anywhere on the court. Now, in his era, they didn't have the 3-point shot until the latter stages of his career with the Spurs, but he could score from anywhere on the court. Crazy shot. He had no weaknesses, and he was a great foul shooter. But the thing that he shared with Kevin Durant is he was not a selfish, shameless, prolific scorer. Like, he played with other guys on that team. It wasn't just him. He also played with Artis Gilmore. He also played with Mike Mitchell. He also played with what's his name? Larry Keenan. So it wasn't just him. And he usually averaged like 18, 19, maybe 20 shots a game, like Durant. So he never really took 25, 26, 27 shots a game like Kobe might have, or Jordan, or Harden, or Maravich, or Baylor, or some of these guys that really put up a lot of shots. Gervin efficiency was crazy. I had to go with George Gervin. You know what I'm saying?
So if that's the case, where are guys getting this? How are guys trying to find a way to compare James Harden's scoring ability to the likes of Kobe and Mike? It's like how I don't understand. Like,
they just go off 3-point percentage. I really do think they just go off of 3-point percentage, and James Harden having all these 50, 60-point triple doubles, and they'll talk about how Kobe never averaged 8 or 9 assists, not taking into context the offense they played in, which is the fucking triangle offense. You know what I'm saying? It is. I don't know, man. People don't know what the fuck they're talking about, man.
I mean, this
You
is
know.
coming from Charles Barkley. I mean, he was a great scorer in his own right too. You think he'd know the difference? He'd know the difference between those guys.
Yeah, you know, I I don't know if he's. I don't know. You know, like I said, like I'm saying, James Harden is a great player and a great scorer, but you have to always take into account the league, the era they're playing in. You got centers like Jokic who's averaging almost 10 assists a game or 9 assists a game. That's unheard of. The game is totally different. The game is totally different than what it was even 10 years ago. So you
Yes, sir.
cannot take these guys' numbers and compare them to players before. Imagine shit. Imagine Bill Walton, one of the greatest passing big men, if he was able to run the offense from the center position. He didn't do that back then.
Nope. He could, but that's
Yeah,
not
he
how
could
the
have,
way the game was
but they
played.
didn't do that back then. And he still averaged like some seasons 5 assists per game just from in the paint. I don't know, man. People really, I don't know.
All right. Thanks for answering my questions, too, Raw. I'll get back into the chat.
All right, no problem, man. Octavius, Texas made. Hell no. Hell no, he ain't no Hall of Famer. He could have been.
Yeah, he got to be trolling. Oh,
He could have been.
I hope he wasn't trolling. I hope he was trolling.
He might have been. I don't know. Oh, Polo Sports. You said, okay, you want a link? Okay.
Oh man, Andrew Bynum. He has some. He has some years. He did have some years. I don't know what
He
happened.
did. He did, but injuries, and the fact that he could be inconsistent and you know, he didn't take the game seriously. He didn't take it seriously at all. So he had that potential because I remember him being like a guy putting up 18 and 12, playing with Kobe and Pau Gasol. So he definitely had that potential, but injuries and
Best front court in basketball.
right. But they're having an argument in the comment section.
About what?
Like, I don't know, man. It's like I see it's like a LeBron versus Kobe thing going on. Is that what it is?
That's why I don't like bringing up Kobe or LeBron, because it always turns into Kobe versus LeBron, and it's really not necessary.
LeBron played with a stacked deck as well. I never seen it, but Kobe fans like to make it seem like he didn't play with a stacked deck. I'm gonna just let that stick with them. Okay, let me see who we got. Okay. Polo 21, what's up?
Man, true. Salute, bro. Charles,
okay, what's up?
Charles Barkley need to shut his old non-golfing ass up. Salute to you. I can't see nothing on here. It's not showing the names on there. It's showing a blank avatar.
Yeah, I need to work on some of the shit to myself. Like I don't do these often.
Yeah,
so I need to work on behind the scene, like how to put the names up and shit. But I know in the joke. Yeah, I know we got Tyrese, Polo 21, and Rashawn.
Salute to y'all, man.
Hey, salute to y'all. Salute to you too, Raw, for letting me in, bro.
Oh, no problem. Hey Dom, the link is in the it should be in the chat room.
Terrell, you got a lot of capping in your comment section. A lot of capping.
That's rare. But
Look, man,
listen,
look. Go ahead.
nah, I was just gonna say this, and Tura, you, I don't know if you know how I feel about James Harden, but I'm with you how about James Harden, except to the fact that everybody thinks that he shoot better than Jordan. Okay, here's my stance on this. Okay, with Jordan, if Jordan would have took shooting as serious, like from the 3-pointer, which they really didn't do that, and he really worked on the 3-pointer as much as he did it on the mid range.
Right.
He would have mastered it because he perfected the mid range. That's why what they call him, the master of the mid range. James Harden has been a scorer to me. You have to get it done on every single level, and dribble 90 times, and then shooting a shot and hoisting the ball up from three. That doesn't make you a better scorer. Michael had moves, and uh, name me a time when James Harden got into the post and utilized his footwork. Well, at least in the around like 8, 9, 10 feet. You haven't seen it. He he,
No.
he he doesn't do that type of stuff. Jordan could go off the dribble. He could face you up. He could do the triple threat, and he could move without the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the case closed.
Yeah. Yeah. You make a good point about Michael not really falling in love with that three pointer, because I remember if there was games where Jordan might shoot well, he might shoot well from three. He might go 4 for 10 from three, 5 for 9, 6 for 11. But then the next game, he might only take one. And he'll say he never wanted to fall in love with that shot because it was fool's gold.
Right.
You know, he never really wanted to get to a point where he fell in love with just shooting threes. Like you said, he worked more on shooting the mid-range, because his biggest criticism coming out of come to the pros was that he was inconsistent from the mid-range. A lot of people, like I try to keep telling younger people, in the 80s and 90s, as much as three-pointers are emphasized today, it was the mid-range that was emphasized then. If you couldn't shoot from the mid-range, you were considered an incomplete player offensively then. That's what guys were kind of working on then. And then all of a sudden, like in the last, I don't know if Reggie Miller's part of it. I don't know what kind of started it, because it's been this big emphasis on threes the past 10 years, and it's gotten more prolific in the NBA to the point now where teams are shooting 35 threes a game, and you got some teams that shoot 40-some threes a game. You know what I'm saying?
With Tura, another thing that they don't point out in panel 2, R.I.P. Cliff Robinson. A lot of people don't realize, like when Cliff, you remember when Cliff Robinson, he started to do that. A lot of people didn't notice that, but I noticed it. When I'm talking about bigs, and then we talk about the influx of three pointers and everything. Because you had back in the days, Tura, you had Dale Ellis, Mark Price. I'm trying to think of some.
Oh, you talking about like star players that shot threes?
Yeah, that could really light you up. You know what I'm saying? But
that let Shrimp for a bit.
Glenn Rice.
Well, I think he's talking more like late 80s, early 90s. You talking about late 80s, right?
Yeah,
well,
late 80s, early 90s. It doesn't matter, because you mentioned Reggie Miller. You know what I'm saying? So
right. Who else? Dale Curry.
Michael Adams.
Oh yeah, Michael Adams. You had the guys out there that could shoot them. Kiki Vandeweghe.
I forgot about Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki.
Mock Mook. How can I forget about Mock Mook?
Or Chris Jackson. Yeah. But so you're talking about like big guys that started shooting three. Yeah. Cliff Robinson, Derek Coleman was one of the first ones. Terry Mills,
something Charles.
Bill Lambier,
Sam Perkins.
What's the call? He used to shoot him 220 of his career before he retired. Rasheed Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought Rasheed started shooting them more as he got older.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he first came in the league, I don't really remember him shooting it that much.
Nah,
like,
he wasn't.
Not that much. Mm-hmm. Crazily though, Chris Webber, when he was playing with the Bullets, he would occasionally shoot from three, but he stopped.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and watch him when he was with the Bullets, he would shoot from three. Not a lot, but he would shoot from three, but then he stopped. It probably had something to do with the fact that they brought the line back out. But he would shoot from three. Oh, I was going to say another big that shot from outside before he left was Jack Sikma.
Sikma, man, yeah. And you see a lot of these, like when Cliff Robinson was doing it, I was just like, it was unorthodox to me too. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, panel. I saw Rasheed doing. I was like, man, what the hell is it? Like, I know I wasn't the only one that felt that way. And even with Sam Perkins, I was like, what the hell? But I would use Sam Perkins on live and be knocking them shit down. I was like, okay. Then I started cheering for that motherfucker when he would shoot. Big Smooth is what they used to call him. So I was like, man. So I think, it was occasional, but now it's like what you said about Jokic. Jokic out there shooting threes, you know what I'm saying? All the centers now, if you can't shoot a three, they mad at you.
Right. Let me shout out Percy Bev. He said, gotta sign off. Excellent stream, my brother. Yeah, man. Thank you for watching, man. Thank you again for the donation to the channel. I want to thank everybody that's watching on this live stream. I know I don't do a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? But I had to go ahead and go live for this one, man. But go ahead, Polo.
Oh, no. I was saying I want to hear what these other guys, what y'all got to say about that. About shooting. I guess if they still here.
Yeah, I'm here, but I don't know what your question is.
Oh, about what we were talking about.
About big man.
Big man shooting, and I know I never got nobody take on James Harden being a better scorer than MJ though either.
To me, James Harden, he's not even the best offensive player in this league right now. I think Kyrie Gervin is still more offensively better than James Harden. I still have Kevin Durant. I think if you give, I'll still take LeBron James over James Harden as an offensive scorer. I don't even think I think James Harden might be top 5 in this era, but he's not number 1, even in his own era. So I'm not even sure what Charles Barkley talking about.
I think Charles Barkley is probably enamored by the fact that he saw that James Harden has led the NBA in scoring. And if James Harden continues at this pace, I think he'll lead the NBA in assists for a second time. And I think he'll be the first player to lead the NBA in scoring and assists multiple seasons. So maybe he sees stats like that and gets so giddy about it. But, assists are kind of overrated today, man. It's so, it's so. Go ahead.
It's all predicated on somebody else making a shot.
Right. I'm like, I just find the triple double and the assist stats a little bit overrated because a lot of these guys are purposely trying to pad that total now. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these guys are constantly trying to get 10 assists a game. They're trying to go for triple doubles, as opposed to in the past, it was kind of like coming through the floor. It was like it just happened that guys might got average 10 or 11 assists. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are really
I feel
trying
what
to.
you're saying.
Yeah, they trying to get these numbers. So
Because
I don't know, man.
Because too raw on social media, that's what the argument is about now. Back in our day, it used to be, did you win or did you lose? Now it's all about the numbers. Well, you ain't averaging in the triple double. You only got 8 assists and you only have 18 points. When I was watching basketball, it was all about, did you win or did you lose? And I call this era now the triple double era. Everybody's almost averaging a triple double in this era. I mean, it's not even special no more.
Right. Hey, legendary. I know you said Oscar did it before, but it depends on what you're looking at. Like technically, in '68, I think it was, Oscar led the NBA in scoring average, but back then they judged it on total points. That's why most outlets gave the scoring title to Dave Bing. So technically, Dave Bing led the NBA in scoring in '68, and Oscar didn't. But Oscar did lead the NBA in assists multiple seasons. You know what I'm saying? So that's why
Tiny
I was
Archibald.
saying
Tiny Archibald.
he did, but he did it in the same season. He did it in the same season. James is, I think, the only guy to do it in different seasons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it depends on what you look. I mean, it depends on what source you're looking at.
To me, I don't give a fuck about a triple double if you're not winning rings.
Right.
Exactly.
Can we get a ring? Yeah, like what my man said. My bad. Can you at least get to the finals again before we start? Let's talk about MVPs and all this other stuff. And that's another thing. He stop saying he a damn MVP. He hadn't done this the whole damn season. Yeah, his professionalism wasn't even up to par. He just started playing good. If you're gonna do that, then you might as well give Luka, because Luka started off horrible. But he wasn't out there blowing his teammates under the bus.
It's just disappointing to me that
MVP wrong. To me, MVP. Go off if you're the number 1 on the 2 seed. I go off if I take you off of that team. What does your team success look like? What was your team success a year before you got there? So that's how I judge MVP. Not off if you're the number 1 seed and you're the best player on the best team.
Right.
MVP is for who has the best season. It's not necessarily for the best player.
I agree, but if you like Chris Paul last year, to me, I thought Chris Paul should have won MVP because OKC was projected not to make the playoffs, and Chris Paul by himself took OKC to the second round in the playoffs. That should have been he should have been an MVP. He should have won the MVP last year.
Yeah, why ain't he in the talks now? Look what he's doing with Phoenix. That's what tripped me out. That's a good point right there. Look what he's doing with Phoenix.
Mitchell should be in it too. Donovan Mitchell should be in it too.
Right, shoot, if they're gonna throw, see, I have a problem with that. If they're gonna throw Donovan Mitchell in there, you got to get Rudy Gobert in there too, because without Rudy Gobert, what do y'all have? Like Rudy Gobert is defensive rim protector.
Yeah, he's the defensive anchor, but Mitchell is I don't know. It's like he guards the best perimeter player, and also he's the offensive catalyst as well. Gobert isn't that.
But I think the reason why is because they got 6 players. What is it? 6 or 7 players that's averaging double figures. What you got? Ingles, Conley, Clarkson, Mitchell, Gobert. I'm missing somebody, huh?
Like 2 people.
Yeah, like 2 people. There's 2 other guys that are average. Did I say Joe Ingles? But anyways, yeah. You got like 6 players that's averaging double figures or whatever that could get you buckets too.
right? But going off of ESPN and all the talking heads, going off of what they consider MVP, why they not talking about Donovan Mitchell? He got the number 1 seed in the West, and he's the best player on the team. Why not talk about Donovan Mitchell? But nobody talk about Donovan Mitchell. That's why I said we pick and choose sometimes who we consider the MVP. To me, MVP should be how valuable you are if we take you off of this team.
It's like they only want to talk about large market teams, man.
Yeah.
Gilbert Arenas said.
Like how is LeBron James? I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Gilbert Arenas said it's like he learned when he was going through the process of being a rookie that it's more so a business than based on strictly like talent. Like they don't give people like playing time and stuff based on your talent. They do it based off from politics. So it's a business, not just strictly like your talent and who's the best.
Cause like, look, I look at it like this, man. An MVP is what Giannis was, and he won Defensive Player of the Year. You see how Giannis approaches the game. You see how valuable he is to that squad. You see how he gives it on the floor every night on both ends. James Harden don't do that. James Harden is
sucks in the playoffs, though. He sucks. He's offensively challenged, just like LeBron is.
So is Harden.
No, he's not. Harden's not offensively challenged.
Okay, he freezes up every single time.
But MVP is a regular season award.
That's a mental problem, though. That's a mental problem. That's not him being like offensively challenged. LeBron just doesn't have the skill to take over games. That's why he deferred to Kyrie Irving, Schroeder. Harden can take over a game. We see this countless times. Giannis can't take over a game offensively. He can't even hit free throws.
He can't take over. He can't take over no game when the pressure matters most.
Yeah, that's a mental problem.
I mean, he got 17 turnovers. He got a record for turnovers in the playoffs, man.
That's a mental problem, though. That's not because of his skill set.
But my man, you just killed yourself. Would you rather somebody that got mental issues in big games or somebody that defers in big games?
How did I kill? No,
I wouldn't want either one, really.
But if you had to choose, bro, between somebody with mental issues or somebody that defers.
I'd rather have somebody that defers.
Exactly. So you just killed yourself.
Yeah. So you basically saying that you want somebody to make the right basketball decision.
Right.
So the best basketball decision is the best player on the court shooting the ball. That's the best basketball decision.
Not always.
Not all the time.
Not always.
Most of the time, I'm not going to put my legacy in the hands of somebody else. Like when LeBron passed it to Cal Korver in the corner when they was only down by 2. Why would he do that? Like, why would you put it in the hands of somebody else? You're the best player. You're supposed to put that on your shoulders. Like when Kobe shot those against the Jazz. Kobe,
I agree with what you're saying, bro. As the best player, I want you to take the shot.
I want you to put it in your hands.
Right,
I want it in your hands as a coach. As a coach, how can you sleep when Cal Korver shot just... For instance, Cal Korver shot the last shot in a game 7 instead of the best player on your team and LeBron. As a coach, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night like
if
that.
You're making it, I agree with you saying. If you every time in closing seconds you always making the right basketball play and you still lose, stop making the right basketball play, man, and take that shit over yourself.
But see, look, this is the thing. It's not always like what my man just said. It's not always about just shooting per se, okay? But at the same token, if you're wide open, if they're leaving you wide open, and you don't have the confidence in yourself to shoot it, the defense, a good defensive player is going to recognize that anyway. Some of them will even lag off. Like I give you Giannis, Giannis and Ben Simmons. Of course they're gonna lag off of them because they know. Oh, these are spotty shooters.
Giannis don't lack the confidence though. That's something about him that I noticed. He don't lack the confidence. He don't lack it.
You're right. But would you rather have somebody that's confident and pull up and hey, you live another day, or would you want somebody always freezing up? He do good in the first 3 quarters. But then when the game is on the line and get tight, they'd expect you to go ahead and take it over your shoulders, like my man say. And then you know where to be found. They're gonna be like, man, what the hell? You ain't no leader.
But Harden, I just don't see why y'all say Harden frees up. He took the super team Warriors to 7 games.
But you gotta remember though,
froze up in the finals.
But you gotta remember though, Houston won 65 games that year though.
They was the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
But they wasn't a super team. They wasn't like overly talented like the
They
Warriors.
wasn't a super team and still had a better
They got
record
Chris
than the
Paul.
super team.
Record doesn't mean anything.
I'm
The
just saying
Miami
they had a
Heat, the
better
Miami Heat
season.
they had a better season, but we all knew that the Warriors was the favorite with KD, Curry, and Clay.
But
who
you
won
were
that
by
series?
25, man.
Who won that
How
series?
much were they up by?
They was up like that.
They was up by
I
like
just know
20-something
double
points.
digits, man. Double digits. I think the
But,
refs cheated them that game.
In game 6 and game 7, they was up double digits, bro.
But
Game 6
The
and
refs
7.
cheated them that game, in my opinion.
Game 7. Okay, let me ask you this though: if you had a game where your team went
Bless you, bro.
a stretch where they went
Bless you,
over
bro.
27 from 3, you would think that team would have got blown out, right? But they still only lost by 9 points to the Warriors. They blew that game, man.
Yeah, they did blow it, but the refs kind of screwed them too. I think the refs was cheating. I watched that game live, and I was pissed. Harden
You're making. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, man. Harden was getting fouled on threes. There's people that made YouTube videos about that. It's like the refs was cheating for the Warriors, trying to keep the Warriors
But what
in
is
the game.
Harden's thing, though? Hold on. What's Harden's thing? What does he always do? He sells. But in the playoffs, man, it's a different caliber game, man. You can all that selling stuff. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. What you did in the regular season, and he had.
Now I do remember that.
Learned that.
I do remember, like you said, the same calls he was getting in the regular season, he wasn't getting in that game.
Right.
So what you supposed to do? You supposed to adjust, but he didn't adjust.
Them were legit fouls though that they was missing.
That's what. Hey, Rod. That's a good point. My fault. I didn't mean to cut you out. You said adjustments. What did Tim Duncan say? He said you always have to make adjustments in the playoffs. That's right. What Tim Duncan said.
But bro, in every playoff series, in every playoff series, you do know that people get fouled and they don't get those type of calls. Every playoff series, right?
Yeah, I'm not good. They still should have won the game, and you got to keep in mind he had them up double digits without Chris Paul playing.
Game 6 and 7, he had them up double digits.
Yeah.
Coming up next, right here on ESPN2, you can see 6th seeded Texas taking on the 3 seed UCLA here at the Alamo Dome. You can always watch that game on the ESPN.
But James Harden, he's not on Kobe or MJ level offensively.
He's not even on T-Max level.
He's better at what?
He's not even on Brandon Roy's level.
One thing he's better than Brandon Roy offensively.
Absolutely not.
I'm taking James Harden offensively.
Brandon Roy, man, before Brandon Roy got injured, man, Brandon Roy was killing everybody, and he had many moves.
I gotta agree with you on that. Harden needs the ball in his hands.
Harden is better offensively.
Harden needs the ball in his hands to score, man. Brandon Roy, he can get it within the flow of the offense, like y'all said earlier.
Brandon Roy could run in transition. Brandon Roy could pull up on you. Brandon Roy could drive and finish at the cup. He'll bang on you when his knees weren't messing with him.
But you only
Brandon Roy could take a triple threat.
But you only taking 3 years of Brandon Roy. You only did
right.
3 years.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's not even a better scorer than him at his healthy peak.
That's the only simple we got.
James Harden peak is better than Brandon Roy's peak offensively.
Man.
And James Harden is better at creating contact to get to the free throw line than Brandon Roy. I think Brandon Roy averaged 1 3-pointer per game or 2 3-pointers a game.
Right, but he wasn't constantly dribbling the ball. Now, let me ask you this: we had a YMCA, all 5 of us. We got 5 on the panel, right?
Right.
Hey, if would you want to play with Harden?
Yes.
No.
No, you wouldn't. No,
wouldn't
you
do
No.
it. Yes, I
nigga, you
would.
get frustrated in the motherfucker. Get out of here,
He
man.
just
You feel
stands
How would
like
I
there
get?
and
that's why
dribble.
PJ Tucker was about to fight his ass.
How would I get frustrated? You asked me if I would play with James Harden. I told you yes. That means I wouldn't get frustrated if I'm willing to play with
No,
somebody.
because you wouldn't be getting the ball. If he dribbling 90 times and you sitting there stagnated and then he get frustrated at you because you don't make it,
Hold
because you don't
on,
even know that you're gonna get the ball, sort of like Eric Gordon, you go you gonna be like, man, what the fuck?
whoa. I wouldn't get the ball. I thought he was passing it.
No, he talking
Yeah,
about the
no.
Rockets version of
He's
Harden.
padding.
Okay, he is
Anybody, like
passing, but that
you
means,
just said
but
earlier, you was
but
talking about anybody
listen
could give
though.
an assist.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. He's stat padding, so he got to pass it to get that stat right. So I would get the ball.
Yeah, but you better make that motherfucker,
And then
or
by
you
going
not
in and
getting it
out, as
back.
long as I'm getting, if James Harden is passing to me 10 times because he wants 10 assists, that means I'm getting the ball 10 times.
But you know what though? Like he wasn't doing that when he was at OKC. Even when he was at the beginning in Houston, I don't know what happened to him where he started doing all that dribbling.
He had Daryl Morey, who is an analytic guy, who told James Harden it's better for him to take threes or layups. So that's why you seen James Harden game evolve that way, the way it did, because of Daryl Morey.
Yeah, he used to have a mid-range game.
He had a little bit of a mid range, and you know the other thing that a lot of people don't realize, James Harden was a defender when he was a six man.
I disagree.
He was a defender in OKC.
I disagree.
He was a defender. If you go back and look, he was a defender, and he was that
He
extra boost of scoring off that bench.
playing defense and being a defender is two different things. He played defense. He wasn't a defender.
He actually is a good
I'm not
defender
talking
though.
about. I'm not talking about
When
Bro,
he
he not no
tries.
good. Bro, he not no good defender.
not
Bro,
the
you
clamps,
capping.
but he did play defense while he was at OKC.
Everybody
You
plays defense. That don't mean you're a defender.
No.
if he
Not
if he
everybody on
wanna
that
be
squad
if he wanna
played
be, he's a
defense.
good defender. I seen him, man. He locked down Curry in the playoffs
He like
in
down
that
who?
series.
He wasn't
Curry.
He like down who?
Cephalosha. He
Oh,
wasn't Pablo Cephalosha or no shit like that.
Hold
But
on,
he played defense.
Whoa. He like down who?
He was locking down Curry whenever he guarded
He like
him.
down who?
Curry.
Man, you capping, bro. Stop that.
What about when he was checking Kawhi in the
And what
regular
he do
season game? The regular season game this year.
this year?
Yeah.
It was like what, 2 or 3 possessions?
That's my point though. When he want to play defense, he's capable. Like he's a good defender when he actually tries.
Bro, you listen to what I'm saying. Everybody can play defense, but that doesn't make you a defender.
But you say you got to play like
I'm not
consistently.
saying I'm not saying. I think you thinking that I'm talking about like he was like a Tony Allen or like a Pablo or somebody else that was his main. No, that wasn't his main calling card. But
James Harden,
his effort off the bench was more. You could see his effort more. He had humble pie when he went to
has
Houston.
James Harden ever played better defense than Lonzo Ball?
I don't. Nah, I
When
can't
he
get
Exactly.
it. Lonzo
Thank
Ball.
you.
When he was
He's a good
guarding
defender.
Curry, he did.
Man, stop. You capping, bro. Stop that.
Lonzo Ball's always that's been one of Lonzo Ball's strengths. I got to give Lonzo Ball that, but
Right, James Harden.
that's not. I'm not comparing Harden to Lonzo though. Not
And
not
that's
in
good.
that sense.
And Lonzo playing defense is good defense.
Yeah,
So do you telling me James Harden didn't even play good defense?
he played good defense. And he's giving the effort now. I'm saying he's giving a more all around effort.
Now, if you tell me
now.
James Harden played good defense on a couple possessions, then I believe you. But saying he's a good defender, you making it seem like he could defend good all game.
No, well, he could. He did when he was at OKC, but he wasn't.
Nah, he don't want to waste his
He wasn't a
energy.
lockdown. He wasn't a lockdown defender like how you think I'm saying. He got his effort was there. And did he get scored on? Yeah, of course he's gonna get scored on, having to keep up with D Wade and keep up with combination of LeBron and keep
Yeah,
up
they
with.
all gonna get scored on. I agree with that.
and Mario Chalmers at that time.
You're gonna get scored on. The way I judge defenders is so say if you're shooting at 45% and that's your average, right? And if I'm guarding you, I need to get you lower than 45%. That's what I consider a defender. I got to get you lower than your average shooting percentage.
Okay, see, Tony Allen guarded the best players every night, and sometimes they would give Tony Allen, the business or whatever. But I guarantee you, if you talk to a lot of the players, they'll say, "What defender made it tough for you?" They'll mention Tony Allen.
Absolutely.
They'll mention Bruce Blowing.
Absolutely.
They made it tough. Kobe might have got 40, but you don't know the kind of work he had to put in to get 40 against a defender like Tony Allen.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Tony Allen usually had players shooting under their average shooting percentage. That's what made him a great defender. If I'm James Harden and you still shooting about the same average and I'm guarding you, that means I had really no impact. I'm trying to play defense, but that don't mean I'm a good defender.
I'm not saying that was his calling card though.
We know that.
I was just saying his effort was better there. Now that he playing with Brooklyn, you could even see some people even say he playing like he was when he was at OKC, which I don't particularly agree with that. But his effort is there. His effort level is there. When he was at Houston, the only time you saw him play like that was when he put up that 44 points.
Right.
That was the only time, but I don't like stuff like that, man. Like, don't even be around me. You want to go play all good over there in Brooklyn, and now you MVP. But when you was at H-Town, you just because you was pouting because you ain't get what you want in Houston. That organization did everything for you.
I gotta ask you a question. How long are you going to hold on to 9 games?
I'm gonna hold on to it forever.
So if James Harden, if he plays, say he played like 55 games and they all were great games, you gonna hold 9 games against him from not winning MVP?
For not winning the MVP?
Right. You saying as if you wouldn't vote for James Harden as the MVP because of those 9 games in Houston.
Nah, I wouldn't do that because
that makes no sense, bro.
No, it does make sense. Hold on, let me tell you why. Because you have to be lunch pail and you got to be blue collar, man. You can't sit up there. You think Jordan, because Jordan had plenty of management issues. He was playing under somebody that he really couldn't stand, and they were using Jordan like crazy. But he still went out there and gave his effort every night. He had teammates that he couldn't stand. It was everything. Jordan was frustrated, but what did he do? He let that shit ride and he put it out on the floor. You can't go out there and be unprofessional, throwing teams under the bus, getting in fights and stuff like that. Now that's a part of the sport. But I'm just saying you got to show effort and stuff, man. You coming in out of shape. That's why he got the name. You know the name.
So I gotta ask you this then. If James Harden have the Nets as the number 1 seed in both East and West, averaging 28 points per game, 12 assists, and shooting at 48% field goal, you're not giving him the MVP because of 9 games in Houston.
I got to see. Listen, first off, let's take into account that he's not the only guy on that squad. He's not the only guy on that squad. There's many other players that you got to keep up with on that squad too. And see, another thing that people don't even talk about, y'all talk about KD, which he hasn't been in, but Kyrie and the other guys. What about these other supporting casts that have been up in there? Doodoo Brown. You know what I'm saying? What about Joe Harris?
So
Joe Harris is lights out. He automatic. Of course, he's gonna get his assist that way. He's automatic.
So when LeBron James won 2 MVPs in Miami, who he had around?
I mean, yeah, he had D Wade and Bosh.
Right. So if he had D Wade and Bosh and won 2 MVPs, and if James Harden get the Nets as the number 1 seed overall in the NBA, averaging 28, 12, shooting 47% from the field, you still saying because of those 9 games in Houston and who he's playing around, he's not getting the MVP?
No. I mean,
Wow.
I'm not doing that because Kyrie has been playing just as great.
How many games James Harden and Kyrie played together since James Harden been there?
What they play about? What? I don't know. I don't have my stuff in front of me, but you know, Kyrie has missed. Kyrie has missed a little bit more games
Exactly.
than
So
James Harden.
it's not like James Harden played every game with Kyrie, right?
Nah, it's not. But
Exactly.
see,
So basically,
but
he's been a one man show majority of the times, right?
right, no, not a one man show. If he's handling the rock, of course he's going to get his numbers. And when you have shooters, and he's been playing. Listen, I think you're thinking that I'm saying like right now with Brooklyn's tenure that he's not he's not balling. And you're also saying that I'm holding that 9 games against him. I'm saying from a professional sense, I can't do it. Now look
But
at
but
Luca.
but 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 but, but,
Hold on, hold on,
but
hold
you
on, hold on.
hold on, hold
Let
on,
me get
hold
this
on, hold
out.
on.
I'll let you go.
Before,
Hold on.
all
Let me
right, go
get
ahead.
this out. Let me.
I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna
Go
say
ahead.
this. I was gonna say this. Hold on. I'll let you get it in. Okay, if you're gonna judge, j- you know, uh, I mean, based on the 9 games and stuff and not showing up and stuff like that, we could talk about Luca, who played like absolutely doo doo in the beginning of the season, and now look what he's doing. He turned it around. But he ain't sitting up there throwing teammates under the bus, sitting there pouting and whining and stuff like that because things ain't going his way. That's what an MVP does. You got to go through adversity, and he's not mentally strong. He's mentally weak. That's why he needs a supporting cast.
So when I asked you about James Harden winning the MVP, you said you wouldn't give it to him because it's professionalism.
Right.
What that has to
It's
do
all
with how he's
around.
playing? No, man, you don't judge an MVP like that. Now you bringing
Name a
nuances.
name an MVP. Name an MVP that was doing stuff like that. Then
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley never threw his teammates under the bus,
Charles
and
Barkley threw his
he
teammates
never
under
was
the bus.
pouting.
Charles Barkley always pouted, threw his teammates under the bus, spit on people, cursed. He
Man,
was
that
doing
was
all types of
dog.
shit. So you
But
tell me
he only
Charles
won.
Barkley, who was worse, James Harden or
He
Charles
wasn't crying
Barkley?
about no MVP like
I
James
have to ask
Harden
you
was crying about an MVP. He was mad because I ain't
this
getting
year,
no MVP. Curry got it.
this
Man,
year.
shut the hell up and play, man. You can't even perform in the playoffs, man, under pressure.
But
I don't want to hear that.
he did deserve one of those Curry MVPs though in 2015.
For what? For scoring?
He was
I mean,
averaging.
for
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you got it. You got it.
No, you was about to say something. You was about to say what?
No, for scoring, what he was leading the league. Was he leading the league in scoring during that time? Who was leading
Yes,
the league?
James Harden.
Yeah, for scoring. I mean, but
I
I mean, Curry was I felt was more valuable to his squad at least during the regular season. But you can't go out there and be crying about it, man. Like that only makes you look bad. That makes you look like that's your only goal is to get an MVP. What about championship?
I agree. I agree. I don't believe players should cry about an award like LeBron James was doing last year and this year about MVP.
Yeah.
I don't believe a player should be doing that. But I'm saying if James Harden has the number one seed in the NBA, averaging
Mhm.
28, 12, shooting 48 or 47% from the field, he deserves that MVP. You can't say because of his professionalism that he don't deserve it.
Listen, it before Embiid got hurt. Did was he sit was he sitting up there doing? He does little stupid shit on the floor. I can't front Embiid, but Embiid Embiid has been playing at an MVP level the whole entire year before he got hurt. That was my number one MVP right there, and not because I'm a Philly fan. It's because he actually stepped up his game and he was doing way better than what Ben Simmons was at the beginning of the year. Only other player that was playing really good at the beginning of the year with Embiid was Tobias Harris, who was approaching 50, 40, 90, and Tyrese Maxey before he hit that rookie wall. Other than that, everybody else wasn't really playing. Dwight Howard came in and did his thing okay, but Embiid was putting up 40 points here and there. and was doing his thing, double doubles every night. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's tremendous. He's taking a big stride, and he's taking this serious ever since Doc got there. That's an MVP to me. And what's it called? Luca turned it around too. So that's my comparison to you. Would you give Luca MVP? Based on his season and how
Hell
he
no.
started off.
Hell no. I
Why
told you who
not?
my MVP will be. I will have CP3 up there. I will have
Okay.
I'll have the Joker from Denver up there. If
Okay.
Embiid would have stayed healthy, Embiid would have been up there. I would have had Donovan Mitchell up there. And I think that's my top five. Did I name five people? Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, CP3. Who else I said?
Yeah, you need two more.
And
You
I got
said
James
5.
Harden.
Okay, that's 4.
I already said Chris Paul, right?
You need one more.
Oh, Joker from Denver.
I thought you had said Joker, but yeah, listen, that's what. Hey, look, I had Embiid. I had nobody agrees with me. I had Chris Paul. I
I
had
agree.
I had Donovan. I had Donovan up there.
I
I
agree.
had a lot of people don't agree with me with this. Kyrie Irving was up in there at one point. I'm saying at one point, and then this was another guy that a lot of people have kind of just like swept up under the rug, and I don't know why, but that motherfucker Dame Lillard.
Thank you. Yeah, I forgot Dame Lillard. You're
You
right
know what
about
I'm
that
saying?
too.
Like
Yeah, he
they
deserved it.
continuously sweep him under the rug. Wasn't even gonna start during the damn All-Star game. Yeah, like what are you doing, man? He held it down without CJ. It was just him and my man. Man, I always talk about it. I got into it with Tiggy about him. Dang, what's his name? He played for Duke. Um, three
He
point
play,
shot
when was this?
on the Blazers. I
He
forget
played.
his name. Can't think of his name right now. But it was just him and a combination of him and Melo. They was the one holding it down without CJ. But pretty much it's been James. I mean not James.
Dame.
Dame.
Yeah, I agree. Dame is top 5 in MVP conversation. And you see how we named 5 people besides LeBron James? That's crazy. So how can we come up with 5 people and nobody else can?
Because we keep it real over here.
Trying to keep that marketing. They're trying to hold on. They're trying to hold on. Listen, I don't have nothing personal against LeBron, but man, look, man, it's time to promote other players. I think Turao had talked about this, and other people have talked about this. It's time to promote other players. Like people want to see other games. If you notice, man, a lot of the high rated games are not even don't even involve LeBron really. People want to see like a Clippers in the Nets game. People want to see, a different person in the finals. I told Turao this too. There's no parity no more. It's like, oh yeah, we already know he gonna win the MVP. That's not fun. Can we have somebody
Yeah,
else that win the MVP?
right.
Like Joe? Oh my God, Jokic. Oh
It's crazy to me
shit, we
that
didn't know Jokic could do. I want to be
Yeah.
surprised now. Oh yeah, here we
you
go.
know
It's
what's
Mr.
crazy to me?
Nasty time. No.
For preseason, they already got who they may believe may be the MVP. Like how you know who might be the MVP this year, and they haven't played the game yet.
Nah, they ain't even a whistle ain't blowing yet. They talking about MVP favorites. Like,
Right.
damn. Like, since we play basketball for like
There's no
10
mystery.
games a season?
There's no mystery anymore.
Right. Like, can we at least let them play a few games first before we can figure out who may be in the MVP conversation?
Back in the day, I'm gonna have to sign off a little bit, y'all. But back in the day, I don't really remember them talking about the MVP race until really after not like hardcore until after the All-Star break.
Right.
I'm not saying they didn't mention it before that, but it really took off after the All-Star break.
Right.
Now this shit is just incessant, and they make the MVP award almost like it's a championship.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's facts.
It's crazy.
And you're right about that, because you know what's crazy when I hear people arguing about championships. I sometimes I hear people like I'm gonna use Steph Curry for example. They be like, Curry got 3 chips. Well, they'll be arguing championship. Curry got 3 rings, and they'd be like, well, this player got 0 rings. But they'd be like, well, he got 4 finals, but he got 4 regular season MVPs. Curry only got 2, and you'd be like, what? Like, how is they even part of the championship argument?
Right.
Regular season MVPs.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it means something, but I mean, they're two totally different things.
Like I said, let's use for instance, let's use Iverson and Steph Curry. A lot of people like to go Iverson and Steph Curry. I've always
horrible comparison.
I've always said they always kill Iverson because he don't have any rings.
Right.
And I always told him, well, let Steph Curry carry a team by himself. And we see what's going on right now this year of him carrying the team by himself. But I've always said Steph Curry, yes, he's more accomplished than Iverson. But to me, Iverson was the better talent. He was the better player than Steph Curry was. But, you know, they always want to bring up the regular season MVPs. How come Iverson only have 1 regular season MVP? If they knew at that time, only the greats was only winning 1 MVP at that time. I think Shaq got 1, Kobe got 1, Iverson got 1. I think Tim Duncan might have snuck 2 in, but I don't think he snuck 2 in 2000. I think he won 1 maybe in like 97, 99 or 90, 2000 or 1 like that. Tim Duncan. Yeah, then he won 1 MVP.
Back to back 2002, 2003.
Okay, 2003.
Yeah.
And
he's the only one.
You can make an argument, man, that at least me, I think Kobe could have won it in 2003, but that's just me. But they gave it, but Tim Duncan won.
I was saying in 2002, 2003, Kobe should have won that one.
Yeah.
Well, we
that guy that I was talking about earlier too, y'all. It was I meant to say Gary Trent Jr. That was with
right. But then I also made an argument for Kobe winning in 2009 and 2010. He had the best record in the West. Everybody know the competition in the West was tougher, and he had similar numbers to LeBron James.
All right.
Yeah.
And that year he lost it to Nash.
My account.
To me, if you win MVP 1 year, and then you go to the championship that year, the next year, if you want to play the narrative stuff, Kobe should have been top 5 starting that season off in MVP conversations from coming off a championship and winning an MVP. Then getting back to another championship and back to another championship and still wasn't one of the favorites to win an MVP. That's blasphemous.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's to me with Iverson and Curry, it's not fair because Iverson never had that type of offensive talent around him. The best player he ever played with in his prime offensively was Stackhouse. You know what I'm saying? Which he's nowhere in those guys' league offensively as far as what he could do. I mean, he could score, but a lot of times Stackhouse points were not really that impactful.
But he only had Stackhouse about 2 years though, huh?
About 2
it might
years.
have been 1 or 2 years, yeah.
About a year, 2 years, I think. And but he never really had a team offense. His team was built more on defense, and he was kind of like just carrying the load offensively. Like he had to carry that team. Like he was averaging. This is another thing too. He was averaging 30 points a game, 31 points a game. But Philly wasn't like a juggernaut offensive team. They was averaging like 90.
Right.
Yeah.
89.
When they actually played defense.
Right. So he was carrying a huge fucking load. Like 30 points per game back then is different from 30 now.
Right. That
Like
was
30
you know what I'm
points.
saying?
Yeah, 30 points back then probably is about 38
Yeah, about 40.
this era.
Because I was like looking at the proportion. I was proportion
Right.
what Jordan did in '98 and comparing it to today. And in '98, he averaged 33.5 during the finals, but the Bulls only averaged 88 points.
Right.
So if you convert that to what Chicago's averaging now, he would average 45.
Right.
So it's like it's different. It's different the type of load those guys are carrying compared to today. And people still say Curry, should get more help, which he should, but Iverson really didn't have any help offensively. Now, defensively, that team was great, but offensively, nah.
they
But
hey. Oh, go ahead. You got it.
people don't realize Steph Curry has had tons of more help than Iverson ever had, bro. Like people not understanding that Iverson didn't have as much help as Iverson did.
No.
Like even
And
when Curry came in before Steph and Draymond, they forget Curry teams when he got drafted to Golden State.
yeah, because who was his backcourt mate then? Was it Monte Ellis?
Yeah,
Monte Ellis.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Monte Ellis, who's a better scorer than anybody AI played with in his prime. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
because Monte Ellis was actually a smaller Russell Westbrook.
Right. A smaller Russell Westbrook. And yeah,
See,
man. Go ahead.
My bad, Terrell, man. Another thing, man, too, they had to realize. I think one of y'all said it. See, he was already given they just gave Iverson the keys, man. It was like he had a big old load, coming right in. What's it called? Curry.
Yeah,
He was groomed. He was groomed, and he had a couple of solid vets to kind of transition him and everything. And then he had a decent coaching and Mark Jackson. Not to say that Iverson didn't either. Iverson had Larry Brown.
Just used the rest.
He didn't have no talent like that.
Be complete. Because
Right.
to be honest with you,
didn't have no talent like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to shut this down, y'all, man. It's been a pleasure talking to all you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for
sir.
yeah, man. Thank you guys for participating in this, man. And you know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for listening, man. And till next time, man, you know what I'm saying? Stay safe, stay blessed, and peace out, man.
I appreciate
y'all be safe, man. Y'all be blessed, man.
Polo, I'll see you on Ticket Channel.
All right,
All right,
man.
peace,
You be easy, man.
All right, now.